It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled. From morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. We are here almost the last little bit of May, which means I definitely need to start thinking about my June birthdays. But first, let's thank everyone that showed up today. Wolfram, as always, thank you for doing the mod stuff. I appreciate my mods so much because when I am made a mod, I try to tell people this is not a good idea. I have no idea how to do any of the things. So I appreciate mods who know more things than I do. Welcome, Captain Kern and Tammy and Fraudit. Welcome, welcome. And Tammy, I'm okay. The Murph is a workout that people do that kind of honors our fallen veterans. I believe Squid can tell you the actual thing, but it consists of a lot of different movements, and there's different workouts that you can do, but I think it goes to generally just honoring some of the fallen warriors. But I could be way wrong about that. Considering I nearly unalived myself this morning on my walking pad, note to self, there are actual wrist weights in my Amazon shopping cart because frugal me was like, hey, wait a minute. We've got cans of Dinty Moore in here that are about 1 pound. I'm going to use these, forgetting that I am the world's klutziest klutz. So somehow I did not manage to break my face or my leg, but I nearly dropped one of the cans, and then I was like, I'm gonna fall off this thing, and you know, started praising Jesus and using the F word at about the same time. You're like, holy for Jesus. And you're like, oh. So that is my workout story. But as per usual, I actually have secure wrist weights now in my Amazon thing that I will click buy on sometime today because, yeah, I should really stop overestimating my ability to drop things and be a klutz. And let's see. So, our first news story. Now, they say the third time's the charm, but really, can we just stop with the Titanic stuff from now on? I mean, I think all Genlennials can show where they were possibly, need therapy for My Heart Will Go On being played on the radio nonstop for years and years. But no, a now an Ohio billionaire, Larry Connor, would like to show that no, submarines are safe. The last, jackass billionaire who said this is sleeping with the fishes. I'm just saying, it seems like, if you had a bunch of money, I would go to space. Or I just buy abs. I don't know. The pressure is on. An Ohio billionaire is planning to take a deep sea submersible to Titanic depths to prove that the industry is safer in the wake of doomed Ocean Gate vessel that exploded last year. I mean, they said the Titanic was unsinkable. The subs are uncrushable. I mean, y'all, hubris is not a good thing. Real estate or investor Larry Connor of Dayton, Ohio, said he and Triton Submarines co-founder Patrick Leahy will plunge more than 12,400 feet or 2.3 miles to the shipwreck site in a two-person submersible. Look, I'm just saying, possibly don't have the deviled eggs, either one of you. No cabbage soup. It's just you're gonna be in a little bit of a tight spot for a bunch of hours. Quote, I want to show people worldwide that while the ocean is extremely powerful, it can be wonderful and, and enjoyable and kind of really life changing if you go about it the right way. Okay, Jacques Cousteau. I mean, there are nice ways to enjoy the water. It's called a yacht, it's called an island beach. I mean, actually, Greedy Bloke, I'd pay much more to watch that for some reason. I I am not a good person. I would pay at least $10 to watch that pay-per-view, which is why I am going straight to purgatory. But, Leahy said he designed a more than 2 or $20 million vessel dubbed the Triton 4000 to Abyssal Explorer. Okay, I mean, sure, naming something that you're going down to see the Titanic, the unsinkable ship, the Triton 4000.2. I mean, this can't go wrong in any way, I am sure. Uh, quote, Patrick has been thinking about and designing this vehicle for over a decade, but we didn't have the materials or the technology, Connor said. You couldn't have built this sub 5 years ago with the power of soy and Captain Planet combined. Oh my gosh. Again, if you're rich and this is what you want to do, I would just say, nope, just no. Hard pass. Cursed vessel, cursed sub. I'm not doing it. The duo said they wanted to prove that the trek can be done without disaster, despite the implosion of the Titan submersible in June, which carried 5 people and they all passed away, including OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush. The Titan has been heading for the Titanic site when it suddenly had a catastrophic implosion on June 18th. A few days after the tragedy, Connor called Leahy and urged him to build a better sub. The guy that built the other one that like imploded, you're like, look, Cletus, this outdoor bathroom hot tub that you put in, it's leaking all over the place. But also, I'd like you to redo my stairs. Okay, fine. Oh, well, there you go, Wolfram. But knowing that, that still makes my joke funny, at least to me. He said, you know, what we need to do is build a sub that can dive to Titanic level depths repeatedly and safely and demonstrate to the world that you guys can do that and that the Titan was a contraption. Leahy told the paper. Connor didn't say when the voyage will take place. Look, I will be there next Leap New Year. Pencil me in. They used that, oh gosh, stop leak, you know, the foam, and they actually used a look, they used the ShamWow guys stop leak stuff. It's gonna work. I'm throwing this out there. Maybe just go up to Mount Everest. I don't know. This seems like, Godspeed and good luck to y'all, but go with God. Leahy was among the critics of the deep sea adventure industry who accused OceanGate of questionable safety standards, calling Russia's approach quite predatory. We will not listen to any sort of bad mouthing of Rush on this here channel. Just kidding. Uh, Industry experts and whistleblowing employee who had previously come forward with fears about the safety of the vessel in part because OceanGate opted to not certify it through a credible safety group such as the American Bureau of Shipping and Dec Norsk Veritas in Europe. Rush billionaire explorer Hamish Harding, French Titanic expert Jean-Henri Nargolet, and Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood and his 19-year-old son Suleiman died instantly in the Titan when it exploded under the pressure of the ocean. So, good luck to these people. I personally don't get it, but then again, I have never had billions of dollars I needed to invest in something so that the government wouldn't take them for tax purposes. I mean, there would be clues I might be funding the Sailor Moon, uh, Museum of America. There will be clues. In other news, Mike Tyson he had a bit of a medical scare, maybe because he suddenly realized he is fighting Jake Paul. I'm just saying. Mike Tyson suffered a scary medical issue on a cross country flight before Jake Paul fight. Mike Tyson suffered a medical scare on a flight from Miami to Los Angeles on Sunday. His representatives confirmed to the Post on Monday, quote, "Thankfully, Mr. Tyson is doing great." Tyson's representative told the Post in an email. He became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare up 30 minutes before landing. He was appreciative to the medical staff that were there to help him. In Touch Weekly provided the first details of the scary scene, labeling it as an apparent medical scare. Mike had some kind of medical emergency on the plane and paramedics boarded, a source told the outlet. Before the paramedics arrived on the flight, they issued an announcement asking for a doctor. The message even came on everyone's screen. The publication did not know whether Tyson, 57, was removed from the flight, which had been delayed 2 hours in Miami. In their email to the Post, Tyson's representatives clarified that the delay stemmed from an air conditioning issue and not for the medical attention to Tyson. Roughly 30 minutes before the plane landed in Los Angeles, passengers heard an announcement asking for medical professionals per In Touch Weekly. You know, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm rooting for Mike Tyson. I don't know. I don't really I don't know enough about boxing and all the rest of it. The reported medical scare delayed passengers leaving the plane for 25 minutes. He was in first class, but we were in exit row and the stewardess was very chatty. They asked us to stay on the plane as it landed so paramedics could enter, a source told Touch Weekly. She said something like, "He's really an important passenger, so we want to make sure he's in okay condition." I knew it was him, but I just mouthed the words Mike Tyson and she nodded her head yes. Tyson, who turns 58 next month, is scheduled to fight Jake Paul on July 20th in Dallas in his return to the ring. The former heavyweight champion last fought a sanctioned fight in June 2005, although he battled Roy Jones Jr. to a draw in November 2020 exhibition. Tyson said earlier this month that he's going to defeat Paul in what has been officially sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations as a heavyweight bout. His training regimen has included him giving up on the smexy time and the devil's lettuce. Well, that's not a sport I want anything to do with. Just kidding. Uh, Quote, "He couldn't even knock out Nate Diaz," Tyson said of Paul. "Diaz is 40 pounds. He's going to knock me out. Anderson Silva, he couldn't even knock out the little guys, so how is he going to knock me out? He never knocked out a real man. Come on, he didn't knock out Tommy Fury. I'm going to F Jake up." The rest of us agree, probably. Paul, as expected, believes he'll end Tyson's career with a loss. You and gravity and old age. I mean, Jake Paul, you have to bring an entire army of, like, gravity, old age, and, well, Mike Tyson may be just pissed off because he would like to go meet his girlfriend at the end of his bout. I'm just saying, men can get motivated. Also, Jake Paul needs to lose some things. I did not know that this is a movie, but apparently Palm Dog Cody, a star of Dog on Trial, is the top dog of the Cannes Film Festival and probably is the most intelligent person from Hollywood there. Allegedly. I don't know enough about boxing, but I'm sure I won't even have to pay for it because Twitter is going to go insane. The verdict is in. The titular dog on trial was declared this year's Palm Dog winner in Cannes on Friday. Cody, the Griffin mix who plays Cosmos in the Swiss comedy drama, narrowly beat out Zin, a sighthound who instead wagged away with the grand jury prize for the Chinese drama Black Dog. The Palm Dog Awards aren't official or part of the Cannes Film Festival, but do honor the dogs who appear in the festival's films. In a rare treat, perhaps reflecting the growth of the contest's popularity, both dogs were in Cannes to pick up their medals. In this case, dog collars. Both the dogs seem to bask in the limelight. Oh, I like good puppers movies. I'm fine with it. Uh, Uh, Cody barked along with music as Chihuahua by DJ Bobo blasted from the speakers and did tricks on two legs. Zin took a more chilled approach, lying down on the stage while soaking up the adoration. Held on a beachfront on Cannes' famed Crozet, the somewhat chaotic awards were well attended by local dogs, their owners, and film festival journalists alike. The bar provided rose wine above the table for human guests and a line of water bowls underneath for the canine attendee. Historically, many laureates have not been on hand. Last year's winner's Messi was awarded in absentia for his role as Snoop in Anatomy of a Fall. His palm dog collar was instead symbolically wrapped around a border collie named Stan that lacked the thespian's piercing blue eyes. Y'all, Hollywood is ate up. Like, I get it. Being an adult pretender, having, the ability to convey emotions and things like that is important, but y'all are playing pretend as adults. Just be happy with the absolute luck fest that is, and maybe just not tell me about your hot takes on everything. Remember when Marilyn Monroe wouldn't shut up about, manifest destiny? No, you do not, because she didn't. In 2019, director Quentin Tarantino claimed the collar on behalf of Sayori, who played Brandy the heroic pit bull in his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The contest was created in 2001. The annual award and its spin-off categories are decided by a jury of reporters. For Cody, a nearly 10-year-old rescue, the honor was the cap to his career and to a whirlwind week that saw him barred from the red carpet for his film's premiere. In Dog on Trial, directed and starring Letitia Doche, Cody's character is an unruly dog who bites a woman and, yes, is put on trial with his life at stake. The film is inspired by a true story and explores themes of feminism as well as the statues of dogs. The status of dogs. Nope. Ugh. Doge told the Associated Press after the awards that although quirky and eccentric, the Palm Dog is also a has a serious point to make. It's about animal statues and or statuses and other beautiful parts that now dogs have on films and how scriptwriters, directors are interested in the place of animals in our society. Can we stop being self-important, pedantic, and the entire time. Like, God love them, but Hollywood cannot just take 5 seconds to stop huffing its own farts to tell us how enlightened and awesome they are. Okay, enough, Hollywood. I like dogs, but all the actors could be replaced by dogs, and I would be upset. Meanwhile, the Taiwanese superstar and Black Dog actor Eddie Peng showed up to support Zin, not just as her co star, but as her owner and oracle, giving a speech he joked was from the dog. In the film directed by Hugh Yang, Peng plays a man who is ordered to remove stray dogs from his hometown before the Olympic Games. He adopted his canine co star after bonding with her on the set. Maybe in the future, I don't need to work anymore, Piang told Associated Press, commenting on Zin's newfound popularity. I'll just be the agent to my dog. I mean, that's okay. 3 prizes were also awarded to the best mutt moments, and those went to Chippy from Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, Dave in Adriana Arnold's Bird, and a surreal hound assembled in Yorgos Lanthimos's Kind of Kindness. You know what's weird is I don't know any of these movies. I mean, this hasn't changed much in every Oscar and Cannes and Emmys thing, but y'all know, I don't know. In scary news for Disney and, just for any of you guys that are planning to go to Disney's this year, maybe keep this in mind. I don't want anyone else hurt. But Disney's Humunga Cowabunga, a woman was knocked unconscious while riding it, and she now suffers a brain injury, a lawsuit says. A woman alleges in a lawsuit that she was knocked unconscious under or on Disney World's Humunga Cowabunga ride and suffered a brain injury. Laura Reyes Moreno visited the park on May 11th when she went tubing on the 5-story nearly vertical slide, which warns riders to brace yourself for the ride of your life as you race down Mount Mayday at a 60-degree angle. I don't math. She went unconscious after banging inside the ride, the court documents said. Thank you, Zach, for the super chat. I get it. I'm going to put a poll up, and probably starting next week, I'll see if everyone's okay with me moving to 8 a.m. Just for the summer, because when you're up at 4, it really feels like it's lunchtime about about 9 a.m. Uh, Her fiance and his mother discovered her limp body at the end of the ride. Park attendants told the family they were not lifeguards and they would have to find lifeguards to help, the lawsuit alleges. As they were waiting for help, blood kept coming out of the plaintiff's mouth in the water, court documents said. Her fiance pulled her out of the water. A lifeguard arrived and allegedly said they couldn't help or touch the plaintiff either, but the lifeguard called an ambulance. Had the had defendant had lifeguards at the end of the ride to watch and help guests coming from the ride, plaintiff's brain injury would not have occurred as she would not have been drowning in water coughing up blood, the lawsuit states. The suit seeks more than $50,000. Media representatives for Disney did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Now, this comes about a year after we had the woman that had deep internal injuries because of a water slide that was also at Disney. So either the Imagineers are not putting as much work into the safety and sort of you know physics of the rides, or people aren't understanding the amount of G's or whatever physics force they are going to be under these rides. This is not the first lawsuit involving Humunga Cowabunga. Emma McGinnis sued Disney after she said a trip down the water slide ended in serious injuries enough to require surgery in October 2019 when she was celebrating her 30th birthday. As Miss McGinnis neared the end of the slide, her body lifted up, she became airborne, and she was slammed down against the slide, which increased the likelihood of her legs becoming uncrossed or otherwise exposing herself to injury using the slide, her complaint says. The impact of the slide and her impact into the standing water at the bottom of the slide called Miss McGinnis's clothing to become painfully forced in her body and also water. She experienced immediate and severe pain internally as she stood up. And Disney kind of did this thing where they kind of let media come out and say, oh, it was a woman with a wedgie. Well, I did a story about that only to find out that this was immediate, difficult, internal injuries. So I had to do a retraction and apologize because this was much more serious than the Disney, sort of sites were putting it out as. McGinnis was taken by ambulance to a hospital and eventually moved to a different hospital for repair of her gynecological injuries by a specialist, the lawsuit says. She ultimately suffered severe and permanent bodily injury, including severe lacerations and uh, almost lacerations to the point that her bowel was going to protrude through her abdominal wall. I mean, that's that's about as graphic as I'm going to get into that because they go into a lot of detail here. In sad news, and I didn't realize that these particular group of athletes were also getting ready for the Summer Olympics, but unfortunately, a British event writer for equestrian, I guess, edition or the sports of equestrianism. Look, I was never a horse cow. But unfortunately, she passed away after a fall during a competition. British equestrian rider has died after falling from her horse during a competition on Sunday. Georgie Campbell was competing at Bitcon International Horse Trials in Devon, southwest England, when she suffered the fatal incident on her horse, Gullible Quest. Campbell's profile on the International Federation for Equestrian Sports website said that the rider was aged 37. Medical professionals attended immediately following her fall at fence 5B. However, unfortunately, she could not be saved. British Eventing, the sport's national governing body in the UK, said in a statement the horse, Global Quest, was assessed by on site vets and walked back to the stable and was uninjured. To respect the family's privacy at this extremely difficult and sad time, no further details will be shared. Campbell, who represented Great Britain in the Nations Cup Series, had competed in more than 200 events during her career, recording 6 wins. She is survived by her husband, fellow horse rider Jesse Campbell, who competed for New Zealand at the Tokyo Olympics 3 years ago. So it's a very sad, but I often don't see a lot about, equestrian events or things like that. It's It's a sport that I think a lot of people could get interested in because especially dressage, which I didn't even know was a thing until I looked it up, but, you know, horses that dance, I am there, I am down for sound. When we have the freestyle, like in Ferdinand, I am there. I may have watched the movie Ferdinand like 870,000 times with my boys last year. As always, fun dying PSA, truckers see everything. Ladies, please keep your oversized, adult sculptures out of sight, especially the oh, Lord. If you are a lady of size in Memphis, um, we you Fundian may have seen some things that make him question, sobriety. And that was a terrible joke to say before this story. But, this name and shame, because I'm about done with people who drive drunk. Name and shame. Bartender extremely drunk at 10 a.m. and late for work after eating buffalo chicken dip kills mom of 3 in front of young kids. I just it's so dumb because never is it the person that is gonna have is the one who decided to drive drunk. It's always the bus full of nuns and puppies, and I'm getting a bit tired of it. The life of a 29-year-old wife and mother of 3 was stolen by a drunk bartender who ran a red light and crashed into her car mere minutes after the victim left a park where she had gone on a run with her youngest daughters and a friend, Florida cops allege. The Winter Springs Police Department said Wednesday that the catastrophic and horrific collision took place one day earlier around 10 a.m. at the intersection of Vistawilla Drive and State Road 434, just moments after the green light turned red and Tiffany Alexander accelerated forward. This is why I tell my girls, I was like, I know it looks green. I look both ways still because some people have audacity on clearance here lately and will try to run a red light. So I tell them all the time, I'm like, look both ways. Let's see. Uh, Only to be fatally T-boned by a 24-year-old Assemble Roberta Escobar, who was allegedly extremely drunk and late for work. Quote, our police department offers our sincere condolences and sympathy to the Alexander family and cannot even imagine what they are trying to process, the cops said, identifying Escobar as the suspect utterly responsible for Alexander's death. An arrest report obtained by Law and Crime alleged that the suspect's driver's breath reeked of alcohol after the crash. Escobar also had slurred speech and red, glossy, bloodshot eyes, authorities said. After the defendant was read her Miranda rights and agreed to talk with investigators, the police report alleged Escobar said she, quote, got off of work late last night, went to Rax in Sanford to have some alcoholic beverages, claiming to have shot a shot of Jägermeister and a cocktail before leaving ahead of 2 a.m. on Tuesday. The defendant allegedly said she went over to a friend's house afterwards and woke up around 7 a.m., going along for a car ride as her friend dropped off a child at school. When that was done, the friends returned to the residence and ate some buffalo chicken dip, Escobar said, according to the cops. But the aforementioned series of events meant Escobar ended up having to leave the residence in a hurry around 9:40 a.m. because she was late for work, according to her version of events. Cops said they spoke with the suspect's friend, and the woman confirmed that Escobar works at Ale House in Sanford as a bartender and manager. Sarah took her child to school around 0700 hours, so 7 a.m., and Escobar rode with her, the arrest report said of the friend's story. They returned home, laid in bed together, talking and eating chicken dip. Why? Just why? A GoFundMe campaign started 2 days ago by Tiffany Alexander's friends, Michael and Stephanie Zundel Smith, revealed that she was the mother of 3 girls, a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-month-old infant. She was the love of her husband Cameron's life, and her passing leaves a gigantic hole in their young family, a post said. In the wake of this unimaginable loss, we are reaching out to our community for support. As we mourn Tiffany's passing, we also want to honor her memory in a meaningful way and to support her sweet family. Alexander's friends said the wife and mother had, quote, an unwavering faith in Jesus Christ and a gift for making others feel seen and loved. More than $67,000 in donations were raised as of Friday afternoon. Escobar's arrest report revealed that Stephanie Zundel Smith was in a car behind Tiffany Alexander and saw the crash happen right in front of her. Stephanie stated as she is part of a run club with Tiffany they ran this morning while with their children and were leaving the park, the report said. They left the park and turned onto Wistavilla Drive. Stephanie was in a vehicle right behind Tiffany as they were on, the drive waiting for the light to turn green. When the light turned green, Alexander did not accelerate immediately, but waited a few seconds. Even still, Escobar plowed through the intersection at a high rate of speed, killing Alexander as her two youngest daughters were in the back seat of the car, cops said. Stephanie pulled over to the side of the road and approached Tiffany's vehicles, court documents said, tried to wake her up, but could not. Authorities said that a blood draw revealed that Escobar had a blood alcohol level of 0.386, nearly 5 times the legal limit of zero point 0.8. So, ma'am, you did not have a flippin' like white call and then you're like, look, guys, I have to just drink, ginger ale. Ma'am, you had the entire bottle of Jägermeister. Just absolute shameful and ridiculousness. Seminole County Jail records reviewed by Law and Crime show that Escobar remains behind bars with bond on charges of vehicular DUI homicide in the death of Alexander and unlawful blood alcohol causing injury. The arrest report detailed that Tiffany Alexander's 4-year-old daughter sustained minor injuries from the crash, to include abrasions and small cuts. The girl also went unconscious after being removed from the vehicle, cops said. In addition to in additional comments on the tragedy, Winter Springs Police Chief Matt Tratch reportedly emphasized that Tiffany Alexander did nothing wrong whatsoever. Tiffany was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is an instant where a bad thing happened to a good person, he said Thursday, according to Orlando area Fox affiliate WOFL. Tratch reportedly added it was mind-boggling Escobar was even able to drive with a blood alcohol content that high, and he expressed doubt about the defendant's minimization of the amount of alcohol consumed prior to the crash. I find it hard to believe that at 10 o'clock that morning, you're a 0.38. So at 1:30 in the morning, if you stop drinking, are you a point 0.4, 0.5? I don't know. Oh, the snark. You know, uh, you should probably should have, been unalive with alcohol poisoning at that point. As of Friday afternoon, court records did not show an attorney of record for Escobar. Court records reviewed by Law and Crime say that Escobar made an initial appearance Thursday and is expected to be arraigned on the afternoon of July 23rd. I mean, I hope it seems like this family is going to have a lot of support. I hope that friend is able to get some mental health support seeing that, and even the kiddos that were in the car. And heck, I try not to do this, but even this woman will need some mental health, after she pulls her head firmly out of her butt, because redemption is possible. And, who am I to judge? I have done some stupid, stupid stuff. But one thing I don't do is drive when I'm, unfit to drive. I think we can all just kind of make, you know, pinky promises and stuff to ourselves and say, no more, no more of this. It, it should stop. We are what, in the year of 2024? Could we stop? You are not fit to drive. Stop it. Okie dokie. In our, where am I next? I love when, oh, there we are. My brain only works 5 minutes of half of the hour. Twins separated as babies, both named high school valedictorians. Well, there you go. That smartness came next level. These two are taking twin telepathy to the next level. See if they've got a picture of them. Audrey Doring and Gracie Rainsbury, identical twins who were separated after they were adopted from China in 2007, not only reunited 10 years later, but now both girls have been named valedictorians at their respective high schools. The 18-year-olds were able to celebrate the milestone together as Gracie traveled to Wisconsin to watch Audrey graduate earlier this month, and Audrey will head to Washington to celebrate Gracie's graduation. And despite the distance, the sisters have formed a very close bond after reconnecting for the first time in 2017. Quote, our situation is not ideal. It's not like most twins, Gracie said on May 22nd episode of Good Morning America, but I'm so glad I was able to go down and be with Audrey on her special day. And then when I graduate, she's going to be able to come to Washington. After graduation, Audrey will be attending Vanderbilt University while Gracie is off to Eastern Oregon University, where she'll also be playing for the women's soccer team. So that's really cool. I hope that they are able to, have a lot more time. True. Have a lot more time to explore the kind of things that maybe are quirky that they do together. I know that they've done some studies where in like adoption, these sort of, raised by different family things have happened. And all the other things, I have no idea. Now, this next story, I have questions because I'm pretty sure that I have never heard pronatalist, and what in the Henry hipster glasses is going on here? Y'all, I do not approve. And I didn't know I had my own label. But pronatalist parents are under fire after the dad publicly um, touched, laid hands on his toddler, and they think that the criticism is all the ist and phobes. I don't even know where to go in this story. Please tell me these are not these real. Man, those glasses make me look. Woody Allen has never looked that weird before, but I can't. Harry Potter is not a fashion choice, people. And I say this as a person who has a Bobby Hill, Hawaiian shirt. But what in the actual Schnell? I didn't know pronatalists were a thing. Let's see. Remember the American couple who's following the steps of the ultra rich people who want to repopulate the world with their children? No, I didn't know about them, but I guess I'll meet them. Now they're in hot water after publicly laying hands on one of their children. Malcolm and Simone Collins previously told Business Insider that they are on a mission to have a litter of children because, as pronatalists, they want to, quote, set the future of our species. Um, y'all, I don't think the future is going to rely on, Harry and Lillian hipster glasses over here, but okay. I mean, hey, we don't know what God needs us to do, you know, wear unattractive glasses. How about you just however many kids you have, you just raise good ones? I'm just throwing it out there. You don't have to put a label on it. But let's hear more from Henry Hipster Glasses, who is also known as Malcolm Collins. Quote, I do not think humanity is in a great situation right now. Yeah, and 75% is those glasses. If we don't fix the problem, we could be gone. Malcolm Collins previously told Business Insider in 2022. The couple has done several interviews with the press in an effort to explain their objectives as a couple and to speak out on behalf of a burgeoning pronatalist movement. Look, I have 6 kids, but I would like to kindly be left out of whatever in the hell newsletter these two are. Yeah, just this is all shades of Annie Hill wrong. Just no. Or Annie Hall. No, we're just not. No. Woody Allen sexuals, no. We don't need more of you. We just don't. In a recent interview the couple gave The Guardian is getting a bad reception. The Guardian described a scene when Malcolm Collins laid hands on one of his toddlers in public after the child, quote, knocked the table with his foot and caused it to teeter to almost topple before it rights itself. Quote, immediately, like a reflex, Malcolm lays hands on him on the face. The Guardian's Jenny Kilman wrote, this isn't a heavy, thing, but it is a sort of, um, she calls it laying hands with the palm of his hand directly to the 2-year-old's son's face. I'm out. I'm out. Now, listen, Linda, toddlers do not know stuff. They won't know that cause and effect. They know that they're hungry and you're not paying attention because you, like an absolute jackass, are interviewing the guardian instead of paying attention to your child. I'm just going to say I was pro-natalist before it was, well, you two. And we're just worried about having, productive, kind children out here. Now, then comes their response. And for what in the hell ever reason, y'all have to listen to this because I am a parent of 6 children. I have, been alive and raising children, but this is what they explained how they, you know, instruct our children. Quote, "He's an incredibly sweet, smart, analytic kid. He's 2. He's 2, he's trying to figure out if he can stick his entire hand up his booger hole and, possibly working on potty training eventually. But he's also has a major rebellious streak. Again, he's 2. Welcome to reality, America." This is all to say, yes, 100%. Torsten was pushing bound. They named their child Torsten. I'm gonna need to see their license to breed. What in the hell? Was pushing boundaries and not acting unintentionally. Yeah, that kid was like, "You know how I'm gonna screw with my parents' day? I'm gonna kick this table." Okay, we're now giving the 2-year-old not only agency, but rebellious and self, actualizing badness. What in the actual hell? Simone Collins wrote, incidents in which we bop our children are unusual and usually only when physical safety is at stake. Over the phone, Malcolm Collins told Business Insider that he quote unquote bopped his son on the nose to jar him. Not to hurt him, the couple chose the punishment specifically after observing, I shit you not, you're my favorite turds. This quote, animal parenting models. That's it. I can't, y'all. If pro-natalist means dealing with these 2 yahoos, pro are you talking about, like, when dogs will just, pick their kiddos up by the ruff of their neck and walk them around? I mean, I I was tired enough to think that that might could work one day, but, I rethought it. I mean, like, how some animals will, recycle the nutrients that don't really, if eggs don't fully hatch, they'll eat the eggs to vitalize the mom. What in the Jane Goodall are we looking at here? Because I am done. Animal parenting models. Well, I mean, I put well, yes, Wolfram, but I don't designate my children discipline as, "Well, now, Imma tell you what, you want Joseph to pay attention, you gotta look at the hyenas. Now them hyenas don't take no back talk. So Imma need you to go out there, Larry, and go pee in his sandbox, mark your territory." I mean, just what in the actual This is why I couldn't do this. people would give I couldn't interview real people because they'd say something like that, and I'd just look at them like I'd do that, Spider-Man meme where you start laughing and then you're like, "You're serious?" Basically, across the nose is what we aim for. Ugh, you should stop aiming near your wife. Malcolm Collins said, "The reason I think it's better than a slap on the wrist is because it doesn't need to be painful to have the same impact." By that, I mean, uh, what I mean is when somebody enters the space around your face, it's very shocking and very reorienting, especially if you're in an emotional loop, which is easy for kids to get into. All right, sure, okay. I'm gonna bop you on the nose because you're obviously still speaking when I didn't ask you for any of this stupidity. So please let me biff you on the nose, and this will get you out of your circle of stupidity that you've fallen into. The only way you could achieve the same effect, uh, so basically they're like, "Look, no, we just bop them on the head." I just we are we are greedy bloke. I just these 2 look, we don't claim these people. Uh, now now this is where it gets really weird because the couple have now said that they found the backlash that they've faced on social media to be ist and phobic. They argued that, let's see here. It's well documented that, 70% of families use some form of corporal punishment, and if you're, making any sort of upsetness with us, well, then you hate minority groups. Now, that is an ipso facto leap that I have not yet figured out how they did a triple Lutz from corporal punishment and you're being racist. But okay, I I guess that's one way to win the cancel culture war. You just, call everyone ists and phobes. I give up, y'all. I have no idea what is wrong with people. Y'all, just what? I I thought I first of all, don't claim you ever know the issue or the entire parenting thing. You don't have it down. Most of us are fumbling through it. We're trying to be good people, good humans in, everyday life and trying to raise good humans, but we're all, imperfect people. Unfortunately, for my oldest daughter, I always tell her, "I'm sorry, you are my test teen." And if I didn't do it really great with you, I am working on being a better teen parent to the rest of your siblings. But there is nothing that I hate more than these influencer parents that don't honor the fact that A, their kids never asked to be part of this public, service announcement for breeders. And B, they act like they have life figured out, and no one does. I mean, we are all just kind of, hoping to be graded on a very steep curve on some days. It's just, oh, these people are so weird. Anyhoozle, I will be sending you guys to go over to Broken Bakers this morning and s uh, continue with the Karen read. I've got some phone calls to make, and then I will probably join you over there for the morning session at least. And, if I don't see you over there, well, then thank you for joining me as we read all of the weird news. And I basically crack myself up, which is I'm glad someone else is here to laugh too. Anyhoozle, I will see you guys in a little bit. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. for Nightly Newsy News. All the news, a bit more spicy. And if I see any really spicy things, I will make some short little videos for those. Bye, guys. Got to get to the ending thing.